All right, I think we're live and running up here as this is getting started. Yes, I believe we are getting connected here. Things are live and running. So in today's video, we are going to discuss MULN stock. We're going to talk about BBIG stock, HYMC stock, the overall SPY, and everything going on within the volatility and charts, right? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Those that got connected in the previous live stream, that was a couple minutes ago, excuse me for the interruption, but we're going to break it all down in today's video, what's going on with all these different charts and where we stand. And we're going to use 42 vision to go ahead and analyze and see this from the bigger picture and also zooming in on what really matters, right? So I'm going to go ahead and get set up and get connected here with everything and make sure that we are live and up and running, and we are going to break it all down. And any questions you guys have when it comes to a specific stock or anything you want me to pull up a chart on, I'll go ahead and take a look at it as soon as I can, because we are going to break it all down here with 42 vision, and also, you know, what comments and different stocks you want me to take a look at here with the charts. That's going to be one of the biggest things here that we're going to be doing. But the first thing I'm going to pull up is obviously BBIG, MULN stock, and obviously HYMC. These two, actually these three are on fire. I mean, these are some stocks right now that overall in the market, a lot of people are watching, and if you didn't know about them, you definitely want to be aware of them. Yes, we're going to get to BBIG in just a moment. I'm going to pull that up, and we are going to look at that chart from different time frames, so we can look at the bigger picture and also zoom on in within the volatility to see what to expect going into tomorrow. So it's going to be important. And by the way, guys, I'm going to be using, once again, 42 vision, which is something that I use in every single video. It's the indicators that most of the members that have actually joined the community are using to maximize within the volatility. And as you can see in the video right here on the side, it's going to be playing. It's a loop. It's going to share with you the different home runs that we find, the different opportunities, and how it makes an impact, right, in the overall way we look at charts and the clarity and edge that it brings, right? So the link is down below for those of you coming here for the first time or just coming across it and weren't aware of it before. So let me just go ahead and see here what we got going on within this whole entire setup here. And I'm going to get ready and pull up with BBIG. That's going to be the first one. I'm going to go ahead and see. CPTN here rumbles. It's due. Reverse very soon. We're going to look at that as well. First, we're going to break down BBIG. We're going to get to that one first. I think that's one of the most important ones right now when it comes to community-based and driven, and how many people are actually, you know, watching this stock and have been in this stock for some time. And there's been a lot of volatility with it. There's been also a lot of hype behind it, right, with Cryptide. And there's just so many different things going on with it that I think that chart is going to be vital right now to go ahead and pull it up and look at it. And that's what we're going to start with. And then I'll go ahead and look at the others as you guys pull it up. So we will go ahead and break that down. So let's go ahead and see here what we got. All right. So I'm going to pull up BBIG first. Okay, that's going to be our first chart here based off of just the heading and everything that I was going to start with to begin with. And I'm glad that Jose went ahead and picked that one up first here for us to be the one to look at. So let's go ahead and pull up BBIG. So when we look at BBIG on the 1 day, okay, it canceled out based off 42 vision since way up here at $4.26 with a bear indicator, the last bull indicator that popped up in January, right? Now, a lot of people are comparing, right, the possibility of this run happening here. Well, when this run happened, it went up straight, okay? We didn't have a moment of slight pullback, up, pullback, and trying to fight. So the bulls and bears here are fighting big time. And if you've watched my videos before, I've talked about how important breaking above 340, 350 is going to be vital. And also getting above $4 because there was a lot of rejection here. And also when it's starting to pull downwards after that bear indicator really, really quickly. So $4, I think, is a huge resistance level. And it's a point where a lot of people have been fighting to bring their average cost down to or even below that. And as soon as they started seeing profits, a lot of investors have actually taken themselves out, either at a smaller loss, a break-even point, or a slight profit, or more profits than they expected, right? So on the 1 day, the bigger picture, we are under a bull indicator, and these are two very different runs, okay? And we already shifted back before to dark green with red borders, and it's happening again. And if this continues and goes into a red bar or a bear indicator, this is a very short-lived jump, and this bull indicator is going to go ahead and get canceled out. I've talked about that in my videos, and I think this is super important moving forward to be watching this on 42 vision or overall in the charts, right? These levels, right? And support levels. Like if it breaks below 280, 270 very quickly, it's going to be important to watch. Now, if I pull up the 4-hour, you could see that we just got a bear indicator. And we talked about this in our previous video, the most recent one. And this is super important because it has first time to cancel out in this run that we just had way back here in March, this bull indicator. It's the first time it's done this and canceled it out. And here we are with a bear indicator popping up. And this continuation may be strong, right? Like if it shifts from dark green with red borders to a red bar, you know, this could actually rapidly start going downwards. And that is something to watch. Now, it could also be a fake out, right? One of those moments where a bear indicator pops up like we've had in the history of the chart right here on the way down. And it actually just gets canceled out short after by a bull indicator, but then it continued, right? Because yes, it canceled it out, but very short-lived as well. And then this bear indicator started to dominate again. And the bear indicators have been dominating since way up here at $8 way back in October and even throughout the history of the chart. So I think it's super important to actually pay close attention to this bear indicator, but not just this one here on the 4-hour that just popped up, but the 1 day if it rolls over with a bear indicator canceling out that bull indicator. I think that's going to be important. Now, if I zoom into the 30-minute, you could see that we're under a bear indicator and things are trying to come back up really quickly. So if a bull indicator pops up here within the volatility, that could be a sign of strength, but it doesn't guarantee it, because when we go ahead and pull up the 15, it shows us a different story, right? Like if a bull indicator has popped up here and it might be strong enough, but the last time we had a strong move like that was right here, right? It went from $3 up to $3.22, about an 8 to 10% move, and then things started to go back down very, very quickly. So when you go ahead and zoom into this chart, the volatility is going to distract you from what's really going on in the bigger picture. So every time it seems like it's going higher, it's always going to come back down to these resistance levels and what the bigger picture is showing. And right now, things are slowly going downwards, and it's been a very slow bleed recently, right? Like it went from 350s to the 320s, 330s, now 310s, and we're hitting now towards $3. If it gets below that, it's going to be tough for it to try to come back up unless the bulls do not allow the shorts to put the pressure and shake them out. That's like my honest, humble opinion going on with BBIG right now and everything that has to do with it. Now, when it comes to, the Lamov, different news and the Cryptide, all that stuff, right now, that is great stuff for the company, but it doesn't really have much of an impact on what's going on right now, because if it did, the stock would have never went down this low. And if it did, it wouldn't just go up this fast, because yeah, there's been different filings, there's been different things, but this is all going on right now based off technicals, based off, the shorts and the bulls. And then also shorts covering because they're getting squeezed out of their positions. This has nothing to do with the effects of Lamov or even Cryptide. I think the Cryptide information and the Lamov information has even more strength than what we see here in the charts. If the bulls are able to push it up and trap as many shorts as possible, it wouldn't just be a jump up like this one right here in January, or even like the one right here in August of 2021. I think it would be even larger. But right now, this is just pure technicals, and holding through this volatility is only good for those that have probably a long-term opportunity, right? And that's just not me. And again, this is not financial advice, as I always state in my videos. This is just my honest, humble opinion. Trading through this is where the opportunities are, because the charts are just giving it. I mean, you could just see through every single bull and bear indicator. I mean, there's some pretty clean moves when the momentum picks up on the 4-hour, on the 30-minute, on the 1 day, as long as you catch the dips and you ride the rips up, right? And 42 Vision does a phenomenal job at allowing us to see the dips, or at least catch things as low as possible before they rip, right? If you look at these dip areas here, which is white with red borders, and you really do the math, this is 246 area around this area, and down here 219. Let's just say I bought 100 shares here, 100 shares here. In the middle of those two is about 230, and then the lowest point was $2. So if I bought some more there, it went down to 220, and as soon as it ripped, I mean right here, just in that run and that bull indicator, as soon as it got above 220, and I bought $100 each time, I mean this stock would have given already around 30% plus to 40% plus within just a few days, right? So that's the whole goal with 42 Vision, to have that extra layer of confirmation with the bull and bear indicators of the overall direction, and then also the white with red borders all the way shifting to green to see the dips and the rips. I think that is like the best part about it, to receive that edge and that clarity that everyone deserves to maximize in either direction. I mean, that is the most important thing, because even when I have a position and I'm bullish, I'm not just going to sit on the bullishness of a stock. Like, let's just say, you know, hypothetically speaking, I'm into BBIG and I like it. I'm going to buy the dips. I'm going long. But in between that long, I'm also going to try to make opportunities and maximize within the moves up, the moves down, and then the move back down here. And what if it goes right back up if this gets canceled out by a bull indicator, right, on the way back up? So it's just so many opportunities in either direction that I'm not going to sit here just because I'm bullish and miss out on what's going on in the options chain, whether it's puts, whether it's calls. And it's not just for BBIG, it's for every stock and any stock. This is all about strategizing and coming out on top, right? And maximizing within the moves. So let's go ahead and talk about MULN. And I see your comment there with GFAI. I'm going to look into that as well. That is going to be an interesting one. I actually caught that one, excuse me, on one of our home run opportunities on the morning briefings over at the Discord. But that's more than just a penny stock right now. I think that stock has a lot of potential when it comes to its niche and sector. But since it's a penny stock, I won't feel comfortable, just me personally, again, not financial advice, holding a stock like that overnight. But we'll look at that chart in just a moment. So let's go ahead and see here what to expect with MULN. Okay. Now, before I pull it up, I see your comment there, John. You want to join the Discord, but how and when do I get the home runs of the day? It's every single morning, okay? In the pre-market, a few minutes before the market opens, I share a morning briefing. If you look there at the video right here, that's playing right over here, playing on its own, you could see the different home runs that come up when I mention them, and then also how it plays out. Like, let's go ahead and look here. So look at this one right here, okay? This is one I mentioned in the pre-market, This is another one I mentioned on the pre-market, and I mentioned those a few minutes. You see, 8:37 a.m., sometimes at 9 a.m. And once I mention them, that's the point where every single investor makes their own rational decisions. And having 42 vision brings the extra layer of confirmations, as you see in the charts there with these stocks, right? Like, you're not just on your own, you have an equipped, enhanced charting experience with 42 vision. Now, it's not the all be all, right? But it makes all the difference when you could see in a chart when a bull indicator pops up and things are going up with strength on 42 vision, and you could see it there with these different charts. Just, it's going to pop up right now here. You're going to see it in just a moment. And there you got it, right? It was all strong under a bull indicator and just continuation. So that's when you're going to get it, early on in the morning. So let's go ahead and see here MULN stock, and I'm going to answer some more questions in just a moment. Do you offer any training? I want to learn options. Do you do live briefing or just posted? I've been talked about, and asked if I'm going to do any training or courses. Right now, I don't have time to fit that into my schedule. I do plan on doing that sometime in the future. And I do not do live briefings. I just do posts. And from there, every single investor makes their own rational decisions. And here is a day after a whole year that I'm actually doing a live video for investors and everyone in the community here. Subscribe to the channel or coming across the channel for the first time, just to do updates on some of these stocks that right now the market is slightly going back up. And a lot of people are concerned, are we in a bull trap, right? And 42 vision is going to allow you to have that edge to be able to see when things start quickly shifting back down, because right now everything's looking like we're going up. But what about when that bear indicator pops up, not just on the 4-hour, but what if it pops up on the 1 day, right? Like it did way back here when things started to change since November. The market changed in November. It didn't change like a few days ago or a few months ago. In November was the change. If you do your research, apart from just the Fed, the technicals, everything changed since November. And you could pull up many different charts and they're going to show you that type of change, whether it was in November, December, then in January it became more evident. February we felt it, and here we are. So this is not just about, seeing the stock right now. It's about being prepared for when is this bull run going to end, or is it going to continue, and how could I maximize and see how, for example, this right here could be a fake out if it continues, if this bull indicator holds up, which is what we're going to talk about now here with MULN. Now, John Riz, yes, that's the time that I go ahead and pull it up. I pull up all the information between 8:30 to 9 a.m. Sometimes it's a little bit later, maybe 9 to 9:15. It just depends on the morning briefing and how it goes, but it's every single morning. You get an alert as soon as the bull indicator or bear indicator. You're able to go ahead and pull that up. Yeah, you're gonna have the chart looking just like you see it here on the screen. It's gonna be on your screen, on your charts, on your phone, on your tablet, on your desktop, whatever it is that you're using. You will be able to see it all live. Like, let me go ahead and pull up here. Let's see here what's going on with Dogecoin, because it works on crypto and everything. Let me see if I can pull up Dogecoin here and pull up the 1 minute. You can actually see this all going on live, right? These transitions when it's moving from, right there. Like if this goes back up, if it has a pop for any reason, you'll see this shift from red to red with green borders, or continue. And if it was to actually reverse, we would have probably seen a bull indicator pop up on the way back up. But you see all of this live. All this action, you get to see it live within the charts. On the different time frames, no matter which one it is that you're using. Now, our SPY bot and QQQ bot, it actually sends direct notifications over to our Discord, okay? And there you got it. You got that live action going on, like it's trying to reverse back up. So it all depends. It all just depends on what it is, the time frame that you're using, and what shifts are happening. And in the Discord, there's the bull indicator and the bear indicators popping up for the SPY for the overall market, and the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ 100. Yes, Discord is an app you have to go ahead and download separately, and it's going to be integrated into you joining the Patreon, which the link is down below to get connected to the 42 Vision Indicator, get connected over to the Patreon, and then you'll be able to become part of having the full access on your charts as you see it here on the screen, how it's playing out. You see the full shift. If this goes with more strength, if it's real strength, it's going to cancel out here on the 1 minute, this bear indicator, and we're going to get a bull indicator somewhere along this upward trend. Now, if this is a fake breakout, this bear indicator will stay and no bull indicator pops up. And in the overall picture, as time continues, this might continue going downwards. But we can see it here as I'm speaking about it. And let's get into MULN, because I know a lot of people are actually interested in that. So you will want to go ahead and connect through that. And then the Discord is a separate application that's integrated to your membership. And then also you'll have the charts. And right now, there is no offer of a year discount. It's, you come, first serve, those that join and get connected to all the information and everything that's to offer. And as you see here coming up on the screen here in this loop, all the different home runs from this week, and even the SPY bot. I mean, the SPY bot performed so strong this week. It was amazing. I mean, one of the best points of the week, I think it was Tuesday, as you see it coming up here on the loop, and it was so strong to the point where it was 300 to 500% that was able to be made just in options that week on calls, actually. And it was in a matter of just a few minutes to a few hours. And there you have it. You see these transitions. This is how you know that things are reversing. It went from red to red with green borders. That's a signal of a possible point of strength. We're going into dark green. And if this dark green has a continuation to the next bar, eventually this bear indicator, as I stated, and there you have it, now it needs to confirm. This bull indicator needs to confirm. And if it closes on this candle, I mean, we already knew since way down here that it was coming. And that's what we were looking for. And it just continues going higher. So it's pretty good. Hit the I'm putting in a lot of work for free. Nah, man, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy going out of my way and sharing all this information, and also enlightening everyone that one of the biggest goals for me is to share this with everyone and everybody be aware that there is actual clarity and an edge that every single investor deserves to have. Okay. And smashing the like button, I mean, that would be awesome. I would appreciate that. So more people in the algorithm can push this out. But I mean, having this edge and clarity, everyone deserves it. I don't think investors should miss out on this or not have this opportunity. And sometimes people pass it, and you don't know until you experience it or you actually use it. So thank you for that comment, and I really appreciate it. So let's go over to MULN, and you got to see it live there, basically how it works. So MULN, okay, we're going to go ahead and see here what is going on within the charts on the 4-hour. We're going to look at the 30-minute, and I'll zoom in even more. But before we do, I see here a comment, and it says, will you be looking into certain stocks with this stream? Are we allowed to make certain suggestions where you can give us your analysis in them? Just curious. Yeah, go ahead, comment different stocks and different tickers that you would like for me to look at, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Right now, we're breaking down BBIG. We were going to talk about MULN, and I'm going to touch base on HYMC. And I was just explaining 42 Vision. And those of you coming across it for the first time, if this is all new to you, just, smash that like button. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you can watch more videos on how I use 42 Vision to help every single viewer and investor through the volatility, and how you can have this edge as well. So comment those ticker symbols down below. And, if this is all new to you, just join us. Join the community here. Subscribe. Watch my videos. And when you're comfortable enough and you think you're ready to join and have this access to maximize within the volatility, join us. And we look forward to having you join us. So, let's look here. I have here MULN on the 4-hour, and this is going to be a big week. Not just for MULN stock. I'm going to share with you guys a date that's going to be important this week for the whole entire market, even for the SPY. And that's why I'm making this video too. I'm making this live stream to update everyone on this information. So MULN stock on the 4-hour is trying to shift back up. And when you see this type of shift on 42 vision, it goes to show that this right here could have been the setup for the next bull run, because when it was pulling downwards, if it did not shift into a red bar and it did not get a bear indicator and this bull indicator held up strong on the 4-hour, there is strength here still. And you could see it there trying to come back up. Okay. Now, this is not guaranteed just yet because we need to see this continue and break through resistance levels, but it is just beginning. Now, when you pull up the 1 day, things are looking pretty strong in the overall picture, but this 1 day right here, which was obviously April 1st, it turned out to be no longer a bright green or dark green with green borders, okay? When it shifts into strength, you get dark green with green borders, and you get bright green when there's further strength, and then you get dark green with red borders when there's some weakness, okay? So on the 1 day, things are showing weakness. On the 4-hour and the after hours, it's trying to reverse. So we have two different messages here between the bigger picture and then the big picture, because the 4-hour is the big picture, the 1 day is the bigger picture. So one of the biggest things right now with this bigger picture is the 4-hour is showing us volatility, and the 1 day is showing us the whole entire possibility of continuation in this direction if it breaks through support, which support is 260 way down here, okay? And we're right now at the 280s. And that's going to be very important for the whole week, because the 1 day is based off each day's closing price and price action. So let's say Monday things pop back up, it's going to negate this, and this bull indicator might continue. But if Monday and Tuesday it gets dragged down towards 260, 250, or just sitting sideways, we are going to continue to see dark green with red borders, and that can actually drag down the 4-hour with it. And that's going to be important. Now, if we look at the 30-minute, it's showing us a bull indicator, okay? Now, when you get these bull indicators and these shifts in 42 vision this quickly, that is way too fast, okay? Usually when you get a bull indicator, you want the bull indicator to be as far away down here as possible from where the move happened. That was a strong move. That one right here, even though it's not as strong, it could continue, don't get me wrong, but it's not as strong as this one, okay? It's way too close. We need to see if this could shift from dark green to bright green. If it can't do that and get above $2.95, $3, then this is going to be a short-lived bull indicator, and this move here in transitions end quickly, because the transitions on 42 vision is from white with red borders all the way to green, and then the shift is back down from green to green with red borders, dark green with red borders, you get red, and then you end up with white with red borders. So this was the real dip. All of this was not the dip. The real dip was right here. The bear indicator was an extra layer of confirmation that things were going to continue, and you can see it there. And this was the rip. And if I show you another example of the 30-minute showing strength, you can see it right here, right? And this was a short-lived one as well. It went from white with red borders, got that bull indicator, and ended at dark green, didn't even shift to bright green. And you could see how quickly things went back down. So that's my concern right now. Is this going to continue, or is it going to end in a very short time like it did here? This only lasted a few hours, or like about a day. Now, the move was pretty strong from the 220s to the 280s. I mean, that was almost 20 to 30%. So it's important. It's important to realize this. Yeah, no, not a problem. Not a problem, Proxy. You can go ahead and, post those suggestions, and then I'll go ahead and analyze it, when I'm done or whatever it is. I'll go ahead and look at it. No problem. So MULN here on the 30-minute. I'm very concerned about that right now. And the resistance will be $3. To my extent, my honest, humble opinion, I think we need to watch that carefully. To the downside, I mean, this support is important, 260s, but it could break through that or come back up and play the whole entire consolidation or going up. But if it can't get above $3 and it's just shifting from bull to bear indicator on the way back down, like if it pops up anywhere around here and it's going downwards, yeah, that's going to be something to definitely keep in mind. But MULN stock had a super strong move going into earnings, and then earnings in a interview, I believe it was, one of the members that actually watch my videos and stuff commented, and that's important. That's important to go ahead and be aware of that earnings got pushed back, and it's no longer actually on that date. So we have to see when that next date is, and I'm not sure how that's going to affect the overall market of MULN stocks chart. So that's what it is for me right now. I'm going to do another video tomorrow, depending on the price action, and do an update on the technical analysis. So if you like these videos, definitely subscribe. So let's go ahead and look at the last one here of the list, and that's going to be HYMC. And HYMC is an important stock right now in the whole entire penny stock world, in the whole entire, meme stocks. I mean, this stock has been explosive. The first time I mentioned this stock was way back here. I believe it was on the date when it went from 30 cents to 70 cents, and it went all the way up to $1 and some change. I think that was way before, or I think I caught it way down here. I'm not sure what date it was. I don't know if it was the 7th or the 8th. It was before the news of, yeah, it had to be this date, because the news about AMC happened later on, and we caught it as well. It went from 70 on up. It was one of those dates. But before AMC even announcing that they had a position on HYMC, it had to do with other news of the personal company, and it was very interesting. And then everything, how it fell together. And then throughout this whole entire downfall, I used to always talk about in the bigger time frames how 42 Vision was showing that the stock was setting up for another bull run. And I mean, we ran from 130s all the way to $3. And here we are now at 213, and everybody wants to know. And I'm going to look at AMC as well so we can compare them. But everybody wants to know how HYMC is doing now. What is it going to do next, right? And it's going to be important to realize that a lot of the move has already happened for now. I think that it's going to be very tough for the stock to do what it's done from 70 cents all the way up to 2, from $1 up to 3, from $2. For it to do the same type of moves and the same type of gains, this has to go from $2 all the way up to 7 plus, right? Which is like a 200 to 300+% move. And the higher the price, the harder it's going to be to move, no matter how much short squeeze potential it has, because it has to do with buying power, okay? Buying that 70 cents, $1,000, doesn't just get you 70 cents and $1,000 worth of HYMC. It gets you more shares. Remember, $1,000 would give you more shares at 70 cents than at $2. If you do the math, at 70 cents, you can get like 1,300 shares plus. And then at $2, you can only get 500 shares. And when it comes to short squeezing, it's not about the price. It's not about the amount of capital deployed. It's about the fact of how much shares could offset that squeeze. And it's a lot easier to create a squeeze down here than up here. Or not say a lot easier, but it's a lot, let's put it this way. It's a lot harder for shorts to not have to cover. That's the best way to put it, because it's not about easier. Nothing's easier. Everything is a battle here between the bulls and the bears. But when it comes to squeezing the shorts, it's a lot harder for them to sit around, because from 70 cents to just 80 cents, that's already 10% loss, because it's for every 7 cents they're losing 10%. But at $2, it's every 20 cents. At $1, it's every 10 to 12 cents. So short squeezing, it becomes more difficult to put pressure on the shorts the higher the stock goes, but the momentum could always be there. So that's the most important thing right now to realize, that like at $2, finding out about HYMC today, let's just say you're coming across it in my video. And again, as I always state, this is not financial advice. This is just my honest, humble opinions and what I think, and I'm sharing my thoughts and opinions over what the charts are showing and 42 Vision. And by the way, the link to 42 Vision is down below for those interested in receiving that clarity and edge over the charts. So HYMC here is too late, in my opinion. If you're finding out about HYMC now, it's too late. If you found out about it, when it was going down, I think it was still on time. Why? Because look at that pop, right? It was nearly 100% plus. But finding out about it at $2, it's going to take a huge move and a huge amount of volume to get this going. I mean, for this to move like it did here, it took 500 million in volume. If you look at the volume right now, it's 10% of that, 57. You know what I mean? Because it's not anymore about how much is being deployed into it. It's about how much each deployment can obtain. So even though it says 10% of 500 million, it could be probably the same capital going into the chart at this amount of volume. It's just the cost went up, so there's less numbers of shares being traded than when it was down here. You buy $100 down here, of it you get about 130 to 150 for every $100. Now you only get 50 shares. You just got cut in half. So that's where you realize that this is not even just cut in half. This is literally 10% of what was going on before. And the average 10-day volume is 3 times it. So volume will be important. And the lower this keeps going, or the lower it struggles to get close to 10-day, average volume or above that, HYMC is going to have a lot of trouble going back up. But on the 30-minute, it's hit 2 white with red border bars, which is a sign of a possible reversal, but not every single reversal is as strong as the other, right? Because if you look at this one down here, this one was really, really weak. I mean, it went from 120s to 130s. That was about 10%. And this one was from 112 all the way up to about 150 right here. Okay, right here and right here. And you could see that shift. And it got that bull indicator. So right now it's at a very interesting point on the 30-minute within the technicals of possibility, but a bull indicator needs to pop up. And that's what I'm going to be watching here on the 30-minute. I think this is a very important thing to be aware of. No bull indicator. This bear indicator is going to hold strong. This is at a point based off 42 Vision of possible reversal. We just don't know the strength of it until we see how the day plays out, how's the volume, and so forth. Now, the 4-hour, again, shifted into a bear indicator here. And this is super important because we are now seeing for the first time a bear indicator pop up, but not like this one here, which ended in 2 days, or this one here where it consolidated. If not, this one is here where things are pulling downwards, like actual downward direction. Now, could this be short-lived? And could this still set up for another bull run and squeeze? Sure, that's a possibility. But right now, the overall picture and the overall trend is showing downwards. So you have to be either really long and you believe in this squeeze, or you believe in this momentum and possibility to the upside to actually be participating or being part of this, or you are just in it hoping it's going to go back up, that a squeeze is going to happen. And I'm not saying this can't squeeze further, because we saw it with AMC. Everyone thought it wasn't going higher last year and so forth, and it went all the way up to the 70s. But, you know, you also need to pay attention to the technicals and know, as an investor making your own rational decisions, where do you stand and where's the next dip, right? Because this dip right here, this one right here, it didn't send a bear indicator all throughout that lower trend. And then the bear indicator popped up literally last minute from 136 to lows of 111, excuse me. And that was about like 20% to the downside. And then everything just popped right back up when it started actually falling at $2. And that's almost 50% down, right? So it's not just about, you know, when is the bear indicator popping up, or, you know, the bear indicator means the whole entire chart is destroyed. Doesn't mean that. But the setup of how the bear indicator is popping up is very different this time around than these last two right here, because these were pretty fast and short-lived and also delayed, and this is happening pretty quickly. And these bars, if they shift into a red bar and it's pointing downwards with that wick down and it just continues to the downside, you know, excuse my drawing, it's terrible, but keeps pulling downwards, yeah, this is going to be super important to be aware that it could continue. We don't know how long, and nobody can catch a bottom, and no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But if the chart's showing something, you know, don't ignore it. And then the one day, I mean, it's just beginning, right? So this is the one that I'm really, really paying attention to if we're going to go into a bearish reaction, and how long will it last? Because again, the last bear indicator that popped up, it only lasted a day, and then it was followed by a bull indicator right here at 70 cents. And even on this pullback, it reversed back up. And in every single video that I made, I told you guys that watched, this is the setup for the next bull run if no red bar popped up, and if these dark green with red borders did not have a continuation of a slope directly down. If not, it starts to curvature, and this bull indicator holds up, does not get negated, and there's the setup for the next bull run. But right now, up here, we have to watch carefully, because it could actually end up having a bear indicator pop up in the next few days or weeks for the first time in a whole entire month since way down here in March 10th and 11th, okay? And that cannot be ignored. Even if it's short-lived, even if it's only for a day, even if it's for 2 or 3 days, that pullback will not be a small one. It'll be significant. But it could also present an opportunity for the next bull run. And that's what I'm going to be getting ready for. And that's the whole point of 42 Vision, being able to get ready. It's not just, you know, seeing something and being worried about it or not sure about it. It's about being prepared for it. And that's my take on these 3 stocks. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys take the floor on presenting me different ticker symbols. Start throwing ticker symbols at me in the comments, and we'll start pulling them up. And I'm going to start with some of the ones you guys are sharing already, and we are going to look at the SPY. All right. So, all right. Zoomedica and Proxy, if you're still there, you're more than welcome to share, you know, what tickers you would like for me to share and look at. And everybody watching, share with your different thoughts there as well, and what ticker symbols you are looking at or want me to look at. And I'm gonna go down the list, so don't hesitate, and let's pull up these charts. And as a community, we're gonna look at them, because there could be a ticker symbol you're watching that somebody else is watching and is not aware of, and we can pull them up and look at them together. So DBGI, let's go ahead and look at that one, because I know you had asked and you were waiting. So Digital Brands Group, okay, on the 1 day, woof, big candle to the downside, but still under a bull indicator. But I would not sit here and say, oh, this bull indicator on the 1 day is showing strength, because this is a huge candle. And if it gets followed by another down candle, it's going to be important. So let's zoom in. Let's zoom in so we can see this. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So on the 4 hour, you see how different the story plays out. So a bull indicator since down here, got a bear indicator, went from 164 down to 120s. Then it came back up. And in the volatility, it got a bull indicator at 149 and went all the way up to $2 and some change. Now, I think that had to do with some news. I believe when all this momentum was happening, I think it had to do with news. If you want to comment that there for me to be aware of. But I'm sure, this bullishness did not happen on its own, because I remember seeing something about this stock. I just, I breezed on through it. I didn't stick to it or even look at it. But on the 4 hour, you could see this bear indicator popping up since the 180s, went all the way down to the 130s. It's at 149, 143, give or take. And this bear indicator is important because it could be the signification of the beginning of a further pullback if it gets a continuation like this one. So what I'm going to be looking at, right, if I was looking at the chart and 42 vision, will it continue to be red, and will it be a longer candle than the previous one, or bar? Will it continue? Now, if it's smaller, okay, this could all turn out to be an overreaction. And even though there's still a bear indicator, it could try to come back up with momentum. And this is where looking at it from a smaller time frame, like the 30-minute or even the 1 hour, can be beneficial within the live action. We won't know until obviously the market opens and things are happening live within the volatility. So if you pull up the 1 hour, you could see that right now on 42 vision, it's at extreme weakness. It's done a full shift. It went from bright green to dark green with red borders, red, and then white with red borders. This could mean that if it tries to shift back up and it gets a bull indicator on the 1 hour, okay? I'm not guaranteeing that, but if it does, that's what I'll be looking at on 42 vision, right? That can signify a possible reversal, okay? And every time that happens, like the previous times it's happened, okay, we had it happen here from $1, went all the way up to 160, and we had it happen here from $1, went up to $2, okay? And here we are for the first time since those last two times, right, in extreme levels of weakness, and we need to see if it's going to continue. Now, to take it to a step further, right, and remove the 1 hour and look at this from even more zoomed in, we can go to the 30-minute. And the 30-minute is showing a pretty similar chart. And then you go into the 15-minute, and things are very volatile within the day, but we're at extreme weakness here, okay? And the last times it happened, we're way back here. Same things, right? So this is a possible opportunity of a reversal, not guaranteed, but it's going to take more than just seeing this chart at these levels. It's also going to take seeing key levels, resistance, support, and if this reverses strong and with strength, a bull indicator popping up to negate this bear indicator, not just here on the 15-minute, but on the 30-minute from way up here, and then also on the 1 hour from way up here. So they're all aligning together of how bearish this is. Now, if it doesn't bounce back up with strength, I'm going to go ahead, and if I was looking at this, hypothetically speaking, with 42 vision within the live action, I'm going to go ahead and watch this. If it consolidates, if it finds a support, how far down does this continue before I make a decision? Because a reversal is bound to happen, especially with extreme weakness. But again, I showed you that there are some that are stronger than others and some are weaker than others, right? Like this one right here. Even right here, look at this. It was a continuation. So it doesn't confirm just yet that it's bottomed, but you could see that reversals tend to come back up. And it's very important to see if it shifts from red with green borders to dark green and a bull indicator following it, just like that one right there, just like this one. Even though that was a small pop, it went from 130s to 180s. Then this one right here. And then we have this one right here within the volatility, but it worked its way up. So yeah, that is at a very pivotal point right now for a possible reversal, not guaranteed. And it's going to be very important to watch it, which is what I would do, how 42 Vision's reacting within the live action. So let's go ahead and see here what's going on. Yeah, news of earnings on the 31st. Good earnings, but the stock completely tanked, which was unfortunate. Yeah, so it probably has to do with their, further guidance and the future of the company and what they're projecting. But I know that the stock, it didn't run on its own from way down here in March and stuff. I know that there was news that came out on it. They had some positive news way before earnings. Let's go ahead and see here. What's the other stuff? Oh, AMC. I keep getting asked about AMC, and I said I was going to talk about it. I briefly talked about it on when we were looking at HYMC, but let's pull up here AMC. All right, so when you look at this from the 30-minute, you could see. Let me sip on some water real quick. So when you look at this from the 30-minute, you can see here how it's very volatile, right? Like the whole picture has been upwards, but very volatile. I mean, these bull and bear indicators, the bear indicators have been very short-lived, and the bull indicators just keep on pushing up. And then right now, the bear indicators are dominating on the way back down when the bulls dominated on the way up. And this is not to be a surprise. We're seeing actually HYMC do something similar to it. And they're like almost the same right now. Like they're literally doing everything. Yeah, you're welcome, Proxy. I appreciate your time and thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe. We do videos almost every single day on different stocks using 42 Vision. And, whenever you're ready to join us, click that link down below. And we look forward to getting you all set up and having this clarity and edge on the charts. We definitely do look forward to getting everyone connected that is interested. And getting all set up to start off the week, start off the month. And, volatility isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So always remember that. And having this edge within the volatility is key. So back to AMC. AMC, they're both moving the same with HYMC. And I think this is going to be important to see when they detach or if they continue, right? So AMC, when you see it going downwards, right, in this direction, a lot of investors don't really get shaken out. There's a lot of investors that are holding strong. You got the diamond hands, you got the apes, you got those that are going for the bigger picture, and then you have those that actually are trading this and they're trading a piece of it and then they're holding another piece of it. So it's never everyone getting out. It's a lot of, the short interest, short sellers, and as everybody says, manipulation, and you could see it in the short data and so forth. But there are some sellers within it because this doesn't just happen on its own. So that is important to keep in mind. So when we pull up here the 4-hour, let's go to less volatility. You could see that you would have known since March 15th, the first shift of white with red borders to red with green borders and going into dark green, that this got a bull indicator. And from that moment forward, there was no bear indicator in sight. There was no volatility in sight on the 4-hour. And this is how you get a full transition and a full big picture. I mean, this is where you go from white with red borders to red with green borders, dark green, you go into the bright green. Even in that consolidation, no shift downwards, no bear indicator, and it popped up even stronger, right? That's where you see a full transition. And right now, we're having a transition to the downside. So even when you see this bear indicator popping up here at $25 and it's down at 23 and it hit lows of 22 and it popped up pretty quickly as we saw, right, within that volatility, well, this is a dark green with red borders. And even though it's dark green and not red, this still signifies downward direction. Okay, you could see it right there. It has to be green with green borders to signify a possible reversal. And I think it's going to be important to see if this could get back up and break above $26 to $27. that is going to be vital moving forward. Vital for this whole entire stock and chart right now. If not, shorts are going to try to put the pressure. And if they can bring this below $23, $22, I mean, it's going to make more volatility for sure. Now, on the 1 day, you could see that, yeah, it got a bull indicator down here at $16 and went all the way up to the 30s. And it shifted back downwards. No bear indicator just yet. But we have a shift from bright green to bright green with red borders and then dark green with red borders. And I think this is important to realize that it could continue or shift into a red bar. And if a bear indicator pops up along the way, okay, like this one, right, from the 40s all the way down to the $13 mark, well, it's going to cancel out this bull indicator on the way down, okay? That is going to be vital and something to watch. So that's my take for AMC, and everything I talked about HYMC, if you were watching, they're kind of going hand to hand right now. They just have different floats. They have different prices, and they're very two different companies. So, but it all comes down to also, the short squeezing and the overall charts and also what's going on with their floats and stuff. But they're very different fundamentally and also technically, but they're following each other ever since, they got linked and connected. So, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Heath. And anytime. And that's my take. That's my take right now with what's going on. I mean, it is what it is. You can't change what the chart is doing. You just can't. You can't change it. And these stocks, man, it's something that you got to try to get in as quick as possible as soon as you have a confirmation. And, always have, a strategy, whether it's a stop loss or something like that. That's the way I approach these things. And it's super, super important. And again, this is not financial advice. These are just my honest, humble opinions. And this is how I approach things. And I actually try to get, ahead of the game. Like if, for example, hypothetically speaking, it's very hard, to hold something, if you're trading, and not AMC, but I'm going to use this chart for an example because AMC is a different purpose. But let's say I see a bull indicator pop up, right? And it pops up here at $14 and the stock is, let's just say this is CHPT or something like that, some random stock, right? It's a tech stock and I'm watching it and it jumps up to 15, 16 bucks. Well, if it got that bull indicator on the 4 hour and I see things going up, well, I'll always go over to the 1 day and watch. And if it's transitioning, right, I want to try to get in before that bull indicator pops up here or within that move from red with green borders, dark green or something like that, between 15, 16 bucks, you get that bull indicator and then try to ride this out. And then you go back to the 4 hour and you could see the bigger picture. And you can also go to the 1 hour and see also the bigger picture. And if it's looking like it wants to try to go up, I mean, right around that $15 mark, it was a great chance. Like, no one can catch a bottom, but being off by $2 on your average, and this thing went all the way up to $30, or even right here, $20, right? 20% to 25%, within a few days. And if you're trading options, even more, I call that a win. I call that having an edge. I call that having clarity. You know what I mean? And that's the whole point of 42 Vision and the whole goal with any momentum stock. If you're finding out about it, when it's, or you're making a move because you were scared or you were fearful, which is something that hurts a lot of investors, starting like way up here when the momentum started way down here, the risk goes higher the higher a stock goes. The lower you catch it, the less risk. And the worst risk within my strategy is having my stop loss, whatever percent I'm willing to lose, and go from there. Go from there. It's always good to have a plan. Again, not financial advice, just the way I approach things and my opinions. So, let me see here. On your indicator, can I put my own stocks to track them? You're able to pull up whatever chart you want, brother, on the charts. You can look at any single stock you want to look at, and you can go ahead and see them. You can see them within the charts. You could pull up whatever chart. For example, if you're going to the search bar and you want to look up charge point, you just look up charge point and 42 Vision's connected to the chart, and you look at it, and you can change, you know, whatever time frame you want to use it on. You could change it to whatever it is that you're looking for. 4 hour, 1 minute. Are you looking to trade it? Are you looking to swing trade it long term? You know, whatever picture you're trying to, you know, map out, you can see it on the chart. And you're welcome. You're welcome. Appreciate the feedback. Thank you guys for the feedback. Let's go ahead and look at some other charts here. Guys, comment what stocks you want me to look at, and we're going to pull them up. All right. So I keep seeing here CYBL. Is that a over-the-counter stock? No, Heath. I don't have a way to see who's on here, who's not on our Patreon. Excuse me for that, but I did see your name. I recognized it because I have I think I saw your name. Yeah, but point of the matter is, I really appreciate you going out of your way and commenting that, and thank you for your time. And you know, just watch HYMC and AMC are moving together, and this is a big battle between the Bulls and the Bears. And thank you so much for supporting the channel, for being part of the 42 Vision community, and being connected to it. And I'm glad it's working for you, and you've been with me for a year. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. And you know, sometimes your usernames are different here than on Patreon or on, you know, Discord and stuff. So it's hard for me to track who's who, and I don't have, you know, memberships here or anything like that, or integrations. So I just wanted you to, you know, verbally hear me say thank you, and I'm glad it's working for you. And I know every single member within the community is loving 42 Vision, and it's definitely all for the retail investors and for every single individual investor to maximize on opportunities within this volatility and the volatility in the markets, because the volatility isn't going anywhere. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. And I think personally, the market is shifting where it's no longer going to reward long-term investors as it used to. I mean, dividends have gone away over time, right? They're trying to make them go back up. We'll see if that's even going to stick around. And then also, you know, the whole entire process of stock splits, there's very few of them. And then if you see it actually happening, it's the big tech stocks. And if you ever hear about a split, it's a freaking excuse my language, but it's a reverse split. It's actually unhealthy for the shareholders. And Heath, thank you so much. And no, I know. I'm just explaining because the names are very different, and I appreciate you understanding. And thank you for your support, and thank you for everything. And we'll be on the Discord tomorrow, and I look forward to having you on there and talking, and we'll see what stocks are popping, man. We're gonna be prepared. This week is big. Keep in mind, and I haven't stated it, but if you're still here, I want you to know this, and I'm going to talk about it probably over at the Discord a little bit more, but we have the FOMC meeting this Wednesday. I believe it's this Wednesday. I think it's on the 6th or the 7th. We'll talk more about that on the Discord. And I'll probably make a video here on the channel. So, again, thank you for your support, and much love, brother. Much love. So, let's go ahead and look at CYBL, because CYBL is a stock that I thought was over the counter, and here we are. It's not popping up. What's the name of the company? What's the name of the company? Because CYBL is not coming up. Yeah, I think that's an over the counter penny stock. I think that's an overcount of the penny stock. That I remember seeing that before, unless I'm wrong. All right, I keep seeing CEI. Let's talk about CEI, and then we're gonna go over to Amazon and SESN. Tash, we're gonna talk about that one. Well, I got you, and thank you for your support and talking about 42 Vision, how your opinion matters. So let's talk about CEI, and then we're gonna go over to Amazon. Oh, it is over the counter. Yeah, it's. I'm not gonna be able to pull it up here unless I switch the settings. But I'm gonna be real honest with you. You know, Josh, I don't use over the counter stocks for the most part. I don't look at them. I don't do videos on them, and I don't think stocks that are over the counter are terrible or anything like that. It's just it has a lot to do with liquidation, and it's a whole different way of trading. It almost reminds me of like crypto before crypto existed, but crypto's more liquid actually, and a whole different story. But that's how I look at them. And Jay, I see your question mark there with MULN stock. I actually talked about MULN stock at the beginning of the video, but we could probably retouch base on it pretty quickly to break it down. But that's going to be after Amazon and SESN. Oh, okay. Cool, Josh. Thank you for that. We'll look at Nova. I think Nova is actually not over the counter, but thank you for letting me know about CYBL. Yeah, over the counter, I don't do that. I don't even like stocks below $1, to be honest. So here we are with CEI. And CEI is right now on the 4-hour under a bear indicator. Okay, and this has been happening since 95 cents. So it is struggling to get back above 90 cents. It rejected it. And it's going to be important for this to just get back above 90. But most importantly, get above $1. And it rejected it as well. Made a video on that when that happened. So on the bigger picture, it's been under a bear indicator here on the 1 day since 114. And then if you go over to the 30-minute, bear indicator. Bear indicators all over the place. And it is just struggling to get above $1. I think that's going to be the most important thing. And we do not really want to see this go below 70 to 70. Yeah, 70 cents way down here. Below that, because that's the most important support right now on the way down. That's just my quick, brief, straight to the point. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you what it is and for what it is. And one of the most important things here, if this does start picking up momentum here on the 30-minute and the 4-hour, I'm going to be watching if it can get a bull indicator, negate these bear indicators, and get above $1. That's just the truth. All right, Zeke, brother, appreciate the feedback and I appreciate your thoughts and your approach and opinion, man. I really appreciate that. Your words, they're encouraging actually. So this indicator is 42 Vision, as you can see right here. You can gain access to it. The link is down below. And another thing too, you can watch here in this video right here. Just a brief summary of what it is, how it works, and then also some of the home run opportunities that, we tend to find. Now, we don't know if it's going to happen or not, but we prepare for it, and 42 Vision equips us. Yeah, man. It's 42 Vision. 42 Vision. Now, if you're connected, you would see it. If you want to be connected to it, you have to go ahead and sign up, and I get you set up for it because it's only invite only. So once you're connected, we get you all set up, and as long as you're active, you'll have the opportunity to be connected to it. And I'm so glad, man. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, the Discord and the Patreon, all that stuff, you'll get access to. Now we have bots. I don't know if you were here when we had bots, but we have bots now in the Discord that send. Let's run it, bro. Yeah, and I have bots now that send from the SPY and the QQQ alerts and notifications about what's going on and stuff with the bull and bear indicators on the 5-minute chart, and it gives us that edge. But yeah, I have nothing else to say about CEI. And I'm really glad that my videos and everything that I've shared with you, Zeke, has actually pushed that inspiration and motivated you, brother. Yeah, GFAI. I talked about that one as well, Jay. We're going to get to it. But right now, I'm going to get straight to Amazon, and we're going to talk about SESN, which is not SENS. A lot of people get those confused. Now, Amazon, I'm going to be real honest. Are you trading this, or are you long-term going with this? If you're still there, Tash, I would appreciate what it is that you're looking at this for, because Amazon is a beast when it comes to swing trading or even day trading. So it just depends. Zeke, brother, join whenever you're ready. If you're gonna join today, we look forward to getting you set up. And I mean, the whole entire month just started, and we're gonna get things popping, man. We're gonna get things popping this month and every month. We do it every day. Came in late. What's the target for CEI? No, brother, I don't do targets. David, I don't do targets. Whoever does targets, nobody has a crystal ball. They're just guessing. I don't guess. I go straight to the point. I don't sugarcoat things. We look at things for what they are, right? Like, what is the resistance? What is the support? Are we under a bull indicator? Are we in a bear indicator? And also, if you see here on my chart, 42 vision, right? Which is the indicator that you can now gain access to. The link is down below. To have the edge and receive the clarity that everyone deserves. I believe everyone deserves this type of clarity. It just simplifies the charts and enhances the charting experience to maximize in either direction. 42 vision, when it's under a white with red border, that is the extreme weakness point. There's 2 times this happened here, and there tends to be a reversal after it, especially when a bull indicator pops up as that extra layer of confirmation. Now, these were 2 very different jumps. This one was smaller, this one was stronger. And if we go back to the most recent one, before that, we got this one right here, and it lended up to these 2. So it's all about just seeing those dips and those rips. But penny stocks, I don't hold penny stocks. This is not financial advice. As I always state, this is my own honest, humble opinion. But I actually am not into holding stocks. Like penny stocks below $1 or close to $1. No, I trade it. These are stocks that you trade, like CEI or anything like that. But again, everybody makes their own rational decisions, makes their own approaches, and this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing what I see in the charts, and I don't do targets. Targets is guessing or just bluffing things out. Some people miss it, some people get it, and that's just awesome for them. But I'm not going to sit around here and bring hype to something that shouldn't be hyped. This is what it is. If it's a support, support. If it's resistance, resistance. Bear, bull, whatever it is. Tash, I was waiting for your response. Both. You have puts. So on the 4-hour right now, it is not going down with a complete point or transition of weakness yet. Now, it has begun, right, in the last few days, but right here, things just have not crossed the support levels that it needed to cross. It needs to go into a red bar or a bear indicator for this to possibly continue. Now, this has been a very strong move in the last several weeks and days. This has been huge. And now that things are coming back down, the only way this could pull down is with the overall market, in my own opinion, even further. And that effect is going to come. That effect on Amazon could come if the SPY or the overall market just starts pulling downwards really quickly. So the 4-hour and the 1-day don't tell us enough information. All it's telling us is that the beginning of a transition downwards has begun. And I've explained this to everyone, how this could mean either a setup for the next bull run or the beginning of a real pullback. So we have a bull indicator. This continues into red bars, or this continues into red bars, or a bear indicator pops up, whether it's a red bar or dark green with red borders on the 4-hour. That's going to tell a story of weakness. The 1-hour, it has begun. And this is where this might roll over into the 4-hour and the 1-day. I think that's going to be important watching it moving forward. But if you look at it, it's created support here at 32.49, 32.50 2 times, right? So it needs to break that if it really wants to go even further down before it starts playing the game of going up and down, up and down. And then that can actually hurt, right, the value of options, a put option or a call option. And these are things that, I think about when I'm taking a position and I'm analyzing if I'm going to go that route and stuff like that. But I don't really hold overnight. Everything is done in the same day. Sometimes I'll swing trade, but it just depends. So on Amazon right now, I mean, if it can get below 32.50, I think there could be some further weakness. And then there's something else to watch, and that would be down here at 3,200. But other than that, the 4-hour is not showing us a lot of weakness just yet. The 1-day is just beginning the transition. The 1-hour, yes. And then you have the 30-minute, and this has been a very fast downward trend. And if this wants to turn into a double bottom, that's going to destroy the whole entire setup here of this downward trend. And it's just going to rip to the upside, right? Because that could turn into a double bottom, right? But if it does one of these, which is where this is why, you make your own rational decisions by knowing what, option contract you got, what time horizon you got it. But this could play this game as well. It can come up and then it rips down, right? It could play that game in the volatility, right? Like as you see it. So it has to break through support for me to be able to say, I think this is very, very bearish. It still doesn't show that on the 4-hour. It doesn't show that on the 1-day. And it just all comes down to 3,200, 32.50. And how fast is it going to get there? Because it may not be in a straight shot. And this right here, this action in the chart destroys option contracts. Yeah, it's going downwards, but this right here eats away the profit possibility, and then it comes back down, and the contract's actually worth less than what it was on the first run before it actually popped back up. So it just all comes down to one's strategy and one's approach. And this is not financial advice, as I always state. This is just my honest, humble opinions, and just pay close attention to those support levels. But it could try to create a double bottom effect, or it could try to play one of those, pop back up if it went down and then rip back down if the overall market pulls it with it. But, I would be watching this one day to day. That's just me. I wouldn't really try to swing it or, and especially over a weekend. That's just me. That doesn't mean that works for everyone. What works for me doesn't mean it works for everyone, but super important to watch. And then if this starts shifting back up, if it gets a bull indicator, that's going to be something to watch as well, because the most recent one, it went from 3,250 all the way up to 3,400. And it happened pretty fast. I mean, that was like 3-4 days. So those are some things to keep in mind, and those are the things I'm watching. So if it pops back up above 33.20, 33.40, I'll probably be watching. If a bull indicator pops up, hypothetically speaking, and to the downside, I would really want this to go below 3,250, 3,200 for it to be much more bearish. And then also see how it pulls with the 4-hour transitions if a bear indicator pops up. And then also the 1-day, how fast is it going downwards and transitioning as well into a possible red bar or bear indicator. So let's go ahead and pull up here SESN. You also asked about that one here. And SENSN is a penny stock below $1. And this stock, I've seen a lot about it. I've just never paid attention to it because I don't pay attention to stocks below $1. And on the 30-minute, it's just way too volatile. You can't really see what's going on with this stock. So let's pull it up to 1 hour. And it's at a very interesting point because every single time the stock has hit white with red borders on the 1 hour and it gets that bull indicator, it's popped up, anywhere between 10 to 20%. And it did it here as well, 56 all the way up to 69. And then it got that bull indicator. And then you can also see the most recent other one here, 58 to 70s. And here we are right now at white with red borders, trying to shift back up on the 1 hour. This is going to be important to watch if it's going to come back up or not, because it has been in a downtrend and a bear indicator since 70 cents. And it's trying to hold above 58 cents. If it breaks through 58 cents, it could try to retest the 52-week low. And then it could break down to newer lows unseen before. Okay, you have time on it. Cool. So just strategize your way through it. Pay attention to those supports and resistance levels, and also, how 42 vision shifts, because if that bull indicator comes back up, and I'm speaking to you directly because I know you have 42 vision, and I appreciate your support, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. Just watch those things. Watch if, the bull indicator pops up, or if that bear indicator transition on the 4 hour and 1 day. Those are the things I would be looking at, and so forth, and how I would approach it. So here we are with SENS, again, on the 1 hour, trying to shift back up. This is going to be a very important pivotal point to see how this holds up above 56 cents and 58. And the lower this goes, closer to the 52-week range, or even the lowest points, if it hits a new 52-week low, the bigger the opportunity. And also the most recent earnings, it got beat, right? You can see it there. So that's what made it pop up really quickly. So the overall market is just dragging this down. But when you look at their income and losses, their revenue has been going up and their net income loss has become substantially smaller, right? Like 2020, it was 22 million loss. And then 2021, it was less than $1 million loss. If this could turn profitable, this stock, and with their innovation, right, because they're biotech, it could make some moves, especially if you look up their price targets and stuff. But nothing's guaranteed, obviously, but becoming profitable will be a huge change and difference for this company. Now, let's pull up the 4 hour and 1 day real quickly. And when you see this, you could see that the 4 hour is showing it still has room to go lower, right? Because on the 4 hour, we have not seen white with red borders, and that has changed 2 times in the recent times. But the most recent run here at 58 to 60 cents, there wasn't any white with red borders, and it shifted back up pretty quickly for a 10 to 20% move. So still something to watch at this level. And I would just pay close attention to it, how close it gets to the 52-week lows or new lows, or if it just pops up really quickly on the 1 hour, if it gets that bull indicator, and then also just watch it on the 30-minute. I think that's going to be important. But looking at this from the 1 day is not really going to make a big difference, because it's been under a bear indicator since $1, and it got a bull indicator here on the 63-cent range. I mean, if a bear indicator pops up on the 1 day, that could actually signify we may see new lows. So yeah, I think this is pretty significant. But within the volatility as a penny stock, if no bear indicator pops up here, even if it retests the lows or hits a new low, this bull indicator might still be in play and it could just pop right back up. So these penny stocks, anything can happen with them. You never know. But at least having this clarity and watching it carefully and looking closely at what 42 Vision is doing, it's going to make a big difference. Big difference on the opportunity. If it shifts to a bear indicator, I mean, this stock is probably going to have a long downward trend, because every time those bear indicators pop up, yeah, they last. And they last for a while. I mean, since $6 up here, and then up here since $1, and then the bull indicators are short-lived. But if this bull indicator holds up, I mean, this will be a huge opportunity as it goes lower, because it's been confirmed it's possibly to go back up, especially if you see it on the lower time frames going up with it eventually. So that's what I would be watching. That's what I would be watching on these charts. You're welcome, Tash, and thank you for that feedback, and thank you for your time. Thank you for watching and hopping on here and joining us and joining everybody here, sending out different ticker symbols. Guys, send out ticker symbols you want me to take a look at. I'm going to jump on what Jay had asked. He talked about MULN. We'll go ahead and talk about that again. That's one of the headings of this video, and we talked about it at the beginning, and I'm going to bring it up again. Nova. That's right. All right, we're going to jump on MULN real quick. This is a very quick and brief one because we already talked about this one, but I got you, Jay. You asked for it. So on the 1 day, things are looking pretty strong, right? It's under a bull indicator, but my concern is what the lower time frames are doing and how this shifted here from bright green to dark green with red borders. Super important, okay? And then on the 4 hour, you could see that, yes, there's a bull indicator. It's trying to shift back up. And this is where we're having a conflicting difference between the 4 hour, which is more volatility here, and less volatility on the 1 day when things are slowly going downward. So if this has a continuation, then this 4 hour could actually get dragged down with the 1 day. Now, if this continues upwards, right, these shifts, and this bull indicator holds true and no bear indicator pops up, this could actually pull up the 1 day back with it. So those are the two things I'm watching right now going into this week. This week is going to be very important. And on the 30-minute, it was under a bear indicator since $3.12, and it hit lows here of 260s, bouncing back up. And I compared this bounce here. We need to see if it's going to be the same thing or something similar to what it did right here, right? It went from $2 up to 270s. Yes, it was a nice bounce of 20 to 30%. And then shortly after came right back down before actually having a strong pop before earnings on this date. So this could be a setup for the next bull run, or is it going to be a short-lived run? Because when the shifts happen way too quickly on 42 Asian, from white with red borders to dark green and going into bright green, and then things shift right back down towards red eventually, right? This is a short-lived move. This is a lot stronger than this pop right here and this pop right here. And then you also have a short pop right here, right? Very short-lived as well. It went from $3 to 330s, 10%. Highest point up here, 360s, 20%. I mean, some are stronger than others, some are weaker. This one was pretty strong here from 166 all the way up to $4. And that's when most of the move happened after this consolidation. And you could see the last three strong ones here from 70 cents and $1 popping up to newer highs every single time. But right now, things have pulled down. They're trying to pop back up. And then now the question is this going to be a fake out or a real breakout? And how quickly is it going to get canceled out by a bear indicator? Okay. You're welcome, Tash. You're welcome. So that's my take on MULN, and that is something that I already broke down earlier in the video, and I went deeper into it, but that's as briefly and quickly as I could share it. I messed up on and chased CYRN, and on the run up last week, literally crashed after I bought it. Is it done? I don't have that answer, brother. I don't have that answer. I don't even follow CYRN. I don't even know if I've actually even traded it before. I don't think I've even mentioned it. If it's a penny stock, I'm not sure about that stock. I don't know anything about it. And even if I pull up the chart, is it done? I don't have that answer. I don't have a crystal ball. I always say that to people, especially people, coming across me for the first time. I go based off the charts, right? And I have a big rule: no FOMO, no chasing. I try to avoid that. If a stock, I start watching it, and I'm watching it on, let's say, on the chart, let's just pull up here the 15-minute because it's a little bit more. On the white with red borders area, right? Let's just say I'm watching MULN. and it pops from 260, right, all the way up to 270s. If I did not get in within that move when the transition began, right, obviously with a strategy, I have to put a stop loss and stuff just in case it comes back down. But if I don't get within that first 5 to 10% move, I move on. I'm already chasing. I feel like I'm FOMOing. Like, the goal is to not FOMO. The goal is to not, chase. And that's the whole point of 42 vision. Like, trying to be able to see the dip area, right? And if something's under a bear indicator, how to avoid it. Because all this trading right here was super risky based off the 15 minute. Even though it's going up and down, this is very risky because the overall trend is down. So the chances of you making an opportunity out of it, you got to be quick and swift. And honestly, it's not worth my time jumping in on something, let's just say 280, jumping up to 312, and I only get like, what, 10% out of it? Very risky for me to try and make something out of this. It could work, but, I just avoid it. So just the continuation. And then right here, this is the area that I call the dip area. And even if I caught it like early, let's just say 275, right? And then I average down at 260 and I bring down my average to what? From 260 and 275, it ends up breaking even at like 270. Well, it popped up. Once that bull indicator hit the 270 mark, it popped up to like 290, 294. And right there, boom, that was a 10 to 15% plus move. This was a strategic averaging down, waiting for that reversal, the bull indicator extra layer of confirmation. And even if I don't get out at the 290s and I get out at 278, right? But I average down to 270, you really do the math, right? 8 cents, it's still something. It's 2 to 3%, 3 to 5%, and move on. I mean, I got in too early, but if I caught it around here, the 260s, and I'm going upwards, I'm going to hold and see what's going on here and then get that pop. But, it just all depends, right, on the strategy and what one's doing. So I really don't have that answer, right? If something, if it still has, opportunity or not. I mean, the way to know if it has an opportunity is to watch it live within the chart, within the volatility, watch the volume, and have this clarity. I mean, that's just as simple as it is. Have the clarity, have that edge, and equip yourself and prepare yourself. Like all of this right here, to some people may have been dips. All of this right here, all of this. But to me, with 42 vision, I avoid all that time wasted. I see that bear indicator, and I know that the dips are right here. And the risk is still pretty high because this is just a 15 minute within the volatility. It can go lower, but just based off 42 vision, a reversal is bound to come. If you've been listening to me and what I state in all these videos, a reversal is bound to come after these points, and there you got it, right? And the question is, could it continue on Monday? And it's possible. And if it does continue on to Monday, if I was swing trading or something, it's going to be rewarding. And if I'm doing options, it's going to be rewarding. And if I traded it within those moments, hey, I made 3 to 5%, 5 to 10%, 10% plus, and move on to the next one. And you could see some of the opportunities here, how, those bull indicators pop up when we mention them early on in the pre-market at lower levels, and then how their highest points, are significant. And you'll see them pop up here when I state them, and then also how it reacts. It was under a bull indicator, consolidation, strength, going up 50%. And then you got GFAI here and CLVR when we mentioned it, and also our SPY bot. And those are the things that we look at and how we perform. So let's go ahead and pull up here CLVR, because that one's been asked for as well, and I think it's going to be important. But before we get to that one, I didn't forget about you, Josh. We're going to pull up CLVR real quick, but we are going to look at Nova as well. I'm going to break down Nova first, but I'm just going to pull up CLVR so we can look at this in a very brief, quick manner. So just by looking at it this week that passed, it's had a lot of volatility. Now, for a trader, this has been phenomenal. With Ultimate 42 Vision, phenomenal. And we're going to get back to it, and we're going to break it all down. But let's look at Nova, because Josh asked for it 2 times. He's been waiting, and I know that we had talked about a over-the-counter penny stock, and here we are, getting ready to pull this one up here. Nova. There, we got it. All right. So this is an energy company that a lot of people have talked good things about and bad things about, right? You hear all these different opinions and stuff. So this is a stock that, honestly, if you are a firm believer in the innovation and change, right, that's coming when it comes to solar energy and so forth, then this is an opportunity. This has been an opportunity on the way down and on the way up, because this is a very short story of Nova. But the issue in Nova is they're not profitable. Okay, it's so important. Josh, you're welcome, brother. I appreciate you, and let's go ahead and break this one down. I know you've been waiting for it. So, we have here an unprofitable company, and I think that's one of the most important risks to be aware of. But if this can actually become less and less, as you see it here, it's becoming less and less quarterly, the losses and the profit margin rising, I think there's an opportunity here for a long-term story, in my opinion. But, you know, there's a lot of other better companies out there when it comes to this specific sector. But NOVA is right now under a bull indicator, since down here at $15, and it was pretty cheap at $15, and still at these levels for a longer term story. And forget about how growth got destroyed, and if money goes back into clean energy at some point in tech stocks, I think this is going to have a huge opportunity, as long as they can keep beating earnings and bringing those profit margins to grow and their losses less and less. If not, you know, things can turn around, and it could actually no longer be a long-term story that's going to be as beautiful as a lot of other companies out there and options. Remember, there's a lot of options right now in this sector. So since way down here at $15, they got that bull indicator. I mean, this was a quick shift. I mean, look how quick that was in like 3 bars. And then it's just been holding since on the 4 hour, right? And it had a slight pullback here. And this was looking like it was leveling off, but quickly shifted here to the downside. You could see that little bar right there is kind of like it wants to pull lower. So it's going to be important going into this week, especially on Monday through Wednesday, to see if this is going to bring a larger bar to the downside, or if it's actually going to level off and bring itself back up and hold this bull indicator. Because if this goes any further down, we've already hit red bars, but if it breaks through certain support levels and stuff, a bear indicator could be on the way. That's what I would be watching, right? If that continues. Now, on the 1 day, you could see that things have beginning to shift downwards, but this is the most dark green red bars that we've seen back to back. And the question is this leveling off? Right here, you could see it right there, right? This bar longer, this one's a little bit like just level off. Like if you see it, it's just kind of just there. It's not bigger to the downside, it's not bigger to the upside, it's just sideways, right? Going sideways. The question is, will another one come up to the upside and bring itself back up? Or is it going to actually come back down to the downside and have a continuation like we saw here or in the history of the chart? And also, will a red bar pop up? That's going to be important, okay? Super important. Those are the 2 things I'll be watching on the bigger picture. Now, on the 30-minute, you're going to see the volatility, and it's been under a bear indicator since up here at 25.46. There's been a lot of back and forth. And then you have here, obviously, the stock under a bull indicator. If it could hold above 23.50, I think that this bull indicator might be still in play. But if it comes right back down, a bear indicator could be on the way, okay? But it did hit a white with red borders recently, and it popped from 23 to 24 and some change, which was about a 10, maybe not even a 10, like a 3 to 5 or 7% move. But, you know, it's overall right now in a downtrend, and it's pretty high up from its recent lows. And it keeps pushing up, And just because it's pulling downwards, and just because, the 4 hours pulling back a little bit, and even if it gets a bear indicator, if the overall market doesn't just crash like it did earlier in the year, this could all just be a healthy pullback setting up for the next bull run, and the overall picture, right, could end up being something much bigger than we can imagine, right? And this is just hypothetically speaking, because no one can tell the future, but let's just say it pulls down, comes back up, pulls down, and then it just keeps going up. The overall direction ends up being up, right? Like you could see in the history of the chart, like something like right here, right? No one knew from September 2020 to what was going to happen in January of 2021, but at that time it was pulling downwards. It got a bear indicator, but the overall market, slightly pulled back, and when it started pulling itself back up, it just all pulled up with it, right? But again, it was a very different market at that time, right? We weren't under the whole entire volatility that we're under right now in the whole entire market. So, and tech stocks and growth stocks and the whole entire sector and niche of this specific stock got hit pretty hard. So, it could bring itself back up even higher if it breaks through resistance of $26 and plus. But I'd be watching these levels. If it pulls back, if this is something that, long term, or something, somebody is looking at for a long-term opportunity, high risk, possible reward, right? No guarantee. And again, as I always state, this is not financial advice. This is just my honest, humble opinions and how I think and process the risk to reward, or what the charts are showing within 42 Vision. But trading this and swing trading this has shown to be pretty opportunistic. I mean, like, look at these bear indicators here, bull indicators, within a few days to a week. I mean, there's some great volatile moves, within the stock. But recently, the whole entire overall picture was just down, and now it's trying to come back up. And if the overall market keeps holding up or whatnot, either this stock can move up with it, or it can end up having a sideways action before the next leg up, or actually show its real weakness that the sector and the overall market is feeling, and probably go a little bit lower, and a bear indicator popping up. But the long-term story, I don't think it's going to destroy it or anything like that, unless, again, like I stated, these losses don't keep getting smaller, because the more these losses get smaller, or quarter over quarter and annually, the higher the chances of becoming profitable. So those are the key levels I would be watching. Those are the things I would look at based off different time frames and what 42 Vision is showing. But the 30-minute, me analyzing and sharing with you, that doesn't make a big difference. The only thing is, if this bull indicator, it's at 2351 or 2350 to be exact. If it breaks below that, the chances of a bear indicator popping up again are pretty high. If it could stay above it, this might hold true, and it might retest the $24, $25 mark, and we'll have to see how much of it goes up before the next bear indicator pops up on that time frame, because the bigger time frames have pulled back. They just haven't pulled back significant enough to share or show a bear indicator. And this has been a pretty strong bull indicator since down here at $15 all the way up to 24. So let's go ahead and pull up here CLVR, as we talked about it. And I think this is going to be one that a lot of people, are interested in and want to know more about. And one of the most important things to realize is the hype started here, okay, around March 20s, right, towards the end of the month. And I think it's important to realize, right, Not sure why it went away, but you guys hear me, right? If you guys can comment and smash that like button to let me know you guys hear me, I appreciate that. Just lets me know that we're connected and we're going. Please hit me on the chat with that, just to know that you guys are hearing me, so I can go on to what I had to say about CLVR. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. So the audio's good? Okay. So, okay, awesome. I'm not sure why the audio went away for a second. So CLVR, the run started way back here. The hype and the excitement started way back here. And you could see it just in this chart, the volatility, how it's kicked in here. And if this is going to turn out to be a phenomenal long-term story, or a phenomenal high likelihood of passing through all the hurdles it needs to pass, because this sector is within the news headlines and everybody's highs and everybody's watching, right? Like everybody wants to know what's going to happen with CLVR. And not just CLVR, the sector itself, SNDL, you got Tilray, and so forth. This all started here. The momentum went up. And then things started to get bearish, right? Since up here at 320s. And it went all the way down to lows here of 192. I mean, that's a drastic change. And like I showed you guys on the 30-minute, which I'm going to pull up in the 1 hour, very volatile. This has been a phenomenal opportunity to trade. And this is where 42 Vision gets to shine the overall picture. So if this bear indicator does not get negated by any single bull indicator on the way back up, if it pumps back up or whatever, and this struggles to get back above 320, right? I think it's going to be dominated by a bear indicator, and it's going to try to go back down, come back up, and the whole picture is it's done. The move happened already. The move happened from here to here, and the overall picture is going to go downwards. So this is where it becomes like buying puts, buying calls. But one thing I do know for CLVR in the sector, their profit margin, awesome. Thank you, Tash. I'm not sure what happened there, but thank you for everybody commenting that you guys can hear me, and I appreciate that, so we can get this rolling. The profit margins that CLVR can make is a lot higher than, their product costs is lower, and their profit margin is a lot higher than most in its sector, but yet it's losing a lot of money. So the overall the whole entire market is for this niche. It's going through a lot. It's not something that is completely profitable just yet. I'm not sure if that's the way they do it in their books and their accounting purposes. I don't know if there's perks for them to report losses. I don't know what it is, but the profit margins are not that strong. So on the 4 hour, we got a bear indicator. It needs to get negated by a bull indicator. And by the looks of it, it has to get above 320 for a bull indicator to even pop up, because it tried doing it and rejected it, came back down, no bull indicator. Maybe things are different and just a little pop up to 280s, $3 could probably pop it up, but we're transitioning here to dark green with red borders, right? And the hype was throughout this week, and then this week's hype is died down. Now, when you look at the 1 hour, we're under a bear indicator, right? This bull indicator popped up, pulled back down, popped up, and it's just been sideways. And then you put the 30-minute, and this is where you could see these clean moves of, push up and tradable right there, push down, tradable right there, and then a push up, push down. And these type of shifts happening this fast and back and forth, but with that clean jump up and that clean downward trend and that clean push back up and that clean downward trend, and then every single jump up from 250s to 320, from 280s to 240s. I mean, each move is like 20 to 40% plus just trading the stock. If one is trading options, it's a lot more, right? Opportunities. So, yeah, I mean, this stock has been a huge tradable opportunity, but the move and the hype happened here. Now, this is all about like the rumors and then sell the news type of thing, and the news is still not out, like confirmed yet. It's still in process. And if this does not pass through all the hurdles, right, and everything that has to do with the niche and sector that CLVR is in, Tilray, all these different stocks within this specific sector, it's all going to just plummet. And anybody that thinks that this sector has a chance in the long run, it's going to be a huge opportunity. But anyone that's in it within that volatility is going to get burnt, right? But this is why this clarity is important, to be aware of where one stands. And the goal is to be in before the bull indicators or around it. And what I try to set myself a goal for is being out before the bear indicator pops up. Now, if I'm in until the bear indicator pops up, well, I want to make sure that I'm in a stock that has enough momentum that from the bull to bear indicator, I'm still up. Like, for example, here, 211 to 270. That's a strong move. Even though I didn't get out at 325, just hypothetically speaking, that's still a nice move, right? It's still up. And then same here and up here, right? So those are the key things when it comes to this type of volatility. But holding through and hoping that this is going to shoot up to the moon and skyrocket, it's a very high risk play, hoping on something that no one knows if it's going to happen or not. And if it gets negated, it's going to be a big push down. But guess what? The push down is an opportunity as well. And that's where 42 Vision is going to be key, to watch these bear indicators, how strong it's going downwards, if it's already started, or also this 4 hour, if it just continues to plummet downwards and retest these support levels. And if it breaks through them, and this bear indicator has been right all along, that just goes to show, this clarity is definitely an edge that's beyond just what anybody could have expected. And, sometimes it surprises me on how much of an advanced edge one can have just by, this alone, and being able to see these transitions and the clarity that the charts look way different. I mean, if I remove all of this and we just sit here and talk about, support levels and stuff and what the chart is showing, I mean, this is so bland and unequipped. And even if you're using an RSI, you're using a MACD, those have moments where they just don't give you the clarity, because the RSI moves up and down. It just moves up and down, and it moves up and down, and sometimes it can't make up its mind, and it looks like it's going up, and then it pulls down like that, and it looks like it's going down, and then it pulls up like that, and it's like, all right, well, it moves with the volatility. The point is to remove the volatility in the market to be able to have that edge and clearly see them move up, clearly see them move down, and so forth, right? And then the MACD, one of the things I really dislike about the MACD is when it looks like it's curvaturing back up and then it actually negates crossing over and it falls right back down. That is one of the most frustrating things. I still use them sometimes just to see what's going on or analyze a chart, but this is a big difference, right? And even when a stock is going up, right, and it rejects these areas, and this bear indicator is still here, and I pull up the 1 hour, for example, and it's shifted into a bull indicator, and the bear indicator is still up on the 4 hour, I would watch carefully what's going on here and create my own opportunity out of it and probably go against it, because the 1 hour is more volatile, and even the 30-minute, because the 30-minute, it was showing, still strength, and it didn't get a bear indicator till here, but the 4 hour is actually less volatile. And if things turn bearish way back here, doesn't matter, all these moves are happening. Those are tradable moves up and down, but the overall trend right now is bearish. And that's where this is becoming very interesting, because this needs to get back up above 320 to actually possibly have a bull indicator pop up and push up even further, in my honest, humble opinion, from what I see here in the chart. So let's go ahead and look at INDO. I think INDO is a good one. PLTR, I honestly don't see anything I could really do an analysis on, because I could show you the bull and bear indicators, I could show you the chart, but this is a whole nother story. This stock I mean, Kathy Wood got out of it. The whole entire market is like mad at it. Like they don't even know if it's good. Then you got people saying it's really good, and then nobody completely understands this company. And then you have other companies. I think it's CrowdStrike and Snowflake that are like doing the same. Quote me on that if you can, or correct me or confirm that for me in the comments, those that know. But I think Snowflake and CrowdStrike are in the same sector as PLTR, like the same services in a way, and their stocks are way higher, and they have higher valuations and stuff like that, and their revenues are a little bit more clear, and there's just something about PLTR that is so secretive, no one really knows. And then you have Kathy Wood creating the scandal of just getting out. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about all that stuff. And those shifts, happening. I mean, I think that caught a lot of people off guard. So INDO, this moves with oil, okay? This is super important to realize that when oil was going up, this was going up. And unfortunately, oil is no longer sparking up like it was before. I mean, the whole entire oil industry has a chance to probably go higher because there are some big whales betting on oil, but not an INDO. They're going for Oxy. They're going for Marathon Petroleum. They're going for Pioneer. Shell. The bigger names. But and Chevron and stuff. But U.S. oil is in a point where the volatility upwards ended. It crashed downwards, which is still pretty high from where this all started at the 60s and 70s, but it came back up to 116, 118, and then came back down. And anytime this stays below 100 or around the 90s, it's not as exciting to those that are interested in oil plays. And you could just see how these recent runs, when it tried coming back up, INDO, and oil tried coming back up. If you look at oil, when it tried coming back up here, and here, that's kind of the times where INDO moved. And if you look at this, it went from $96 to almost 120 there, oil, US oil. And INDO only went from 24 to 36. But when it went from 70 to 125, almost in 120s, it hit like $80. So the whole entire oil pricing and stuff, it's just volatile in a downward direction. And for oil companies to spark up like they did before, in my opinion, it's going to take a lot more oil volatility. We're talking about that surprise of 130, 150 a barrel, and everybody going, wild about it, and all the fear. And if that happens, though, I think it's going to shake up the markets. I don't think that's going to be pretty exciting. But, INDO is definitely one to watch, if there is another possible run. But INDO, once oil cools off and finds its place and everything kind of becomes normal and stuff, I think it's going to go back down below $10 or something like that before it actually gets anywhere, because the company is unprofitable. When you look at it annually basis, it's unprofitable. It might become profitable this year, who knows, in the coming years. But INDO is definitely in a situation of volatility to the downside once oil subsides. And it's been under a bear indicator since up here. And if you put the 1 hour, we're under a bear indicator right now. And if you put the 30-minute, we're under a bear indicator right now as well, since $25. So if this goes below $20, it could go into further lows. If it stays above it, it might be a strong support, and it might have a bounce. But it's not going to be the same as before, and as we saw. And another thing too, when these stocks were running, like IMPP, and I saw Connor talk about it, that's why I'm bringing it up, and also INDO and all these stocks, it was almost too like a strategy to like not a flight to safety, but like a strategy to move towards while everything else was falling or sitting sideways, and the overall market, not just retail, but institutional investors, large investors, everyone was going that way, and these were the moves. And then short squeezes were happening on these stocks because it caught everybody by surprise and nobody saw that coming. So very important to also realize that these moves sometimes happen with just trends and stuff, and it's all about being on top of it, and then paying attention to the charts, because 30-minute we're in a bear indicator, 1 hour we're in a bear indicator, and it's holding a strong support there at $19-20. If it could stay above it, there might be another little move. I'm not stating it's going to be strong or anything like that. They're getting weaker on the way down, as you could see, but it would need a bull indicator to push up, and then also to negate this bear indicator and see how the transitions happen. But if it breaks through $19, we could see lower levels. And then also watching oil. That's another cool thing about 42 Vision. You don't just see stocks. You can actually look at commodities and look at crypto, and you can look at all these different charting purposes to see what's going on in the trends. You can even see the 10-year treasury bond on here. You know what I mean? Like, is it a push up? Is it a push down? And stuff. So it's going to be important. It's going to be very important. So CYRN. I think I've heard about this stock before, but is this what do you call those again? Defense stock? Defense security stock? Technology stock? Like GFAI? Cybersecurity type of deal? I've heard about this stock. I think so. Yeah, if somebody can tell me if this is a cybersecurity stock, I just wanted to know, because that sector right now, overall, the cybersecurity sector is in a position where, stocks in the cybersecurity are in the position where, it could work and it could not work, right? Like if they're going to be needed or not needed, or if there's going to be hype around it and stuff like that. But I'm not sure if there's a cybersecurity stock. It is, right? It is. So it just falls into the same thing. But you know what's interesting? And this is how stocks don't always move together, right? You got GFAI moving higher, right? And then you have, these different stocks, CYRN going lower. So that's where it gets tough to say, like, which one's better than the other. And that's where it's important to, look at their profit margins, which these are really bad. And then GFAI, it's trying to get there. It's almost profitable, right? Like it's terrible. It was profitable before, and then 2020 it did terrible. Hopefully, 2021's numbers can come out and look better. And then also this year, who knows, right? But they're also doing a lot of different contracts, GFAI. So CYRN, it's just being destroyed to the point where it's gonna almost retest these recent lows here of the 220s. And it's one of the lowest points it's hit in the downward trend, and it just went through a split. So when you really think about pre-split pricing, this stock was worth less than $1. And that's where this stock is a lot more volatile. It can move a lot quicker upwards, but it can move just as quick downwards, and it could probably even hit lower levels that we've never seen before, even below $2, and go back down towards $1. Yeah, they diluted it. Jeremy, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, man. And that's everything I'm explaining here. I'm just noticing it, looking at the chart. I don't know if I've ever even watched this stock or went ahead and traded it. I trade so many different stocks, but yeah, this stock is very risky, and it's all about timing. there's nothing really to talk about here. If there's an opportunity or if it reverses, like this is a penny stock of a penny stock of a penny stock. It's like been diluted huge, and it's gonna go back down towards penny stock range if it doesn't have anything going for it. And very different than GFAI. I'm watching more GFAI than anything, even for a possible squeeze. But you know, GFAI has moved up pretty quickly as well out of, you know, penny stock territory. So it's a lot riskier at these levels, in my opinion. But yeah, this stock, it's just, you know, if you're looking to trade it, make your own rational decisions, look at your charts. And if you have 42 vision or you're interested in getting it to see what's going on within the live action and have that edge and make your own moves, go for it. But there's not really much going on with this stock. Let's talk about TKAT. Now, TKAT, it's had its runs and its pull downs. And after this one, I'm going to talk about one more stock, and that'd be it. And then we'll get going. So TKAT, right? TKAT on the 1 hour is under a bull indicator since $2.30. Pushed upwards to $3.52. And there's been a lot of hype behind this stock in these last recent days. Okay, I don't know if it has to do with NFTs or anything like that. If you can comment that down below. I know this stock is in, I think it's in that sector. Is it with NFTs or something like that? I don't know if it's that type of technology or but I know TKAT is a technology service stock. But anyways, in the meantime, I'm going to be talking about it. It's had recent news and it's pushing up higher. Now, it hit its 52-week low recently in March, right? Like a lot of stocks did. And it's pumped off of it pretty fast. TKAT is going to have to go ahead and hold itself and break above $4.50. Yeah, okay, that's exactly what it is. Okay, cool. And break above $4.50 and create a support to hit newer highs. I think that's going to be super important for this stock. If it can't do that, I think this stock is going to come right back down or just hold sideways. But on the 1 hour, it's right now under a bull indicator. So it's actually canceled out this bear indicator. But this has been a big move in one day. I mean, it went from $2.20 to $3.50. So it's going to take a lot more momentum, a lot more volume. And the average 10-day volume was 6 million. And the volume for that day was 34 million. So if this can get above 34 million or get close to it and stay above the 10-day and have that momentum higher and green and with strength, I think there's still room there, but it's going to come back down to resistance and support levels, right? And then you have the 4 hour here showing that bull indicator as well, canceling out this bear indicator. And when this type of move happens this fast, this is where it's vital for the volume to continue and have strength and break through resistance, because then you have this bear indicator right here of a strong move upwards that pulled back down really fast, right? And it just ended. So this can't end that fast. If not, this is just going to lose momentum. So that's where volume and pushing and continuation of bulls creating a possible squeeze is coming into play. And then you have the 1 day showing strength since way down here at 197. So this stock's move did not start right here at the twos. This stock was actually setting up based off the bigger picture for the next bull run. The question is, could this candle or this next bar be just as big as this one? Because all it takes is one smaller one and sideways action to create another pullback like this one. And if the pullback is drastic enough and it shifts from bright green to dark green with red borders to red bars and then a bear indicator, it could start moving back down really quickly. Doesn't mean that it's going to destroy the chart, destroy the overall trend to the upside if the company keeps on innovating, keeps on having good news, the overall market keeps pushing up and so forth. And, you know, the Fed meetings and the different, you know, data, CPI, PPI, and all these different payroll reports and stuff don't affect the overall market and SPY, this stock could try to still push itself up, but it's going to take a lot of volatility, right? Like if it pulls downwards, if this doesn't continue. Another thing too, based off 42 vision, this is the dip area, the white with red borders, right? And every time you get white with red borders, there tends to be a reversal. And you could see these small reversals here. You could see the last one here too, when it went from $5 to $12. But you could see how these small reversals happen right here, right here. You can see it, and you can see it right there. And then you can also see it right here. These are small ones. But the largest one has happened right here, right now. And we've already done a complete shift, right? Because when you look at this, from white with red borders into bright green, that's the end of the shift. So a possible shift back down is always possible. Not guaranteed, but it happens, and you can see it right there. But in this shift, there was no bear indicator, and it didn't go into red bars, and it pushed right back up. So the question is, on this next shift back down, if there is one, if this doesn't continue pushing higher and this volume doesn't keep up, and the average 10-day volume is actually, you know, holding itself up, and it's not above 6 million or not reaching close to 34 million at those highs, well, then it could kind of lose some of that momentum very fast. And, you know, that's where these type of plays get very, very risky. And the initial point of the dip area was here. And within that area and in this pullback, it was setting up for another bull run, and it happened, but it's happening and moving way, way too fast. In my opinion, just based off 42 vision and what it's showing. So if this can continue, it has to have these big bars back to back, right? On the 4 hour, on the 1 hour, right? See, like that right there, that has to be a consolidation area. But if it gets to this point right here and it just shifts right back to, you know, bright green with red borders, goes to dark green, and then a bear indicator, the momentum already happened and it's coming back down. And it could either be a setup at that point for another bull run, or it can actually be the real pullback on the 4 hour getting a bear indicator, and on the 1 day as well, which it hasn't since way back here at $1.97. And then on the 30-minute, within the volatility, big move to the upside. I mean, that is a strong, strong day on Friday. And this is going to be important to watch. If it goes towards dark green with red borders and goes towards red in a bear indicator, or holds up and does the next leg up like it did right here, right? That consolidation area. But bright green with red borders is a lot stronger than dark green with red borders, and then push up higher. So that's going to be important. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video and you enjoyed all the information and everything I shared, smash that like button down below. Click on the subscribe button so you don't miss a single video. And to receive this clarity and edge within the volatility of the markets to maximize in either direction, whether stocks are going up or going down, check out the link down below in the description to the 42 vision indicator and join the members using it and maximizing within the volatility, guys. We have over 250 members, actually 270 members using it, loving it, maximizing, and this is the edge and clarity I believe every single investor deserves within the volatility of the markets. And I believe the volatility is not going anywhere. It's going to continue, and having this edge and clarity is just going to make it that much better and bring that enhancement to one's charting experience, and not FOMO or chase. As always, not financial advice. This is just my honest, humble opinions, and I'm sharing with you guys my thoughts, my thought process, and what I think is going on within the charts and what 42 vision is showing. I look forward to seeing you guys join us, and I'll be getting you guys connected, those that join. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. And, oh, Jeremy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the feedback. Whenever you're ready, we look forward to getting you set up, and this is going to be an awesome opportunity for everybody that is interested. And I'm going to see if I could do a couple more of these type of streams from time to time. And I had a lot of fun having you guys here with me and hearing me out. And, Yeah, I mean, this is the whole goal and purpose for everybody to be equipped, everybody to have that edge and maximize and remove the noise. Focus on what matters. Don't chase, don't FOMO, and make opportunities within the moves, whether a stock is going up or going down. If a stock isn't working that day, we have our SPY bot, QQQ bot that sends out alerts as well based off the 5-minute, right? So like this Friday, there was a bear indicator since literally in the pre-market, and it lasted literally all day. And then on the way back up towards the end of the day, it had another run. And I mean, put options, they went up 4 to 5x within minutes. 4 to 5x within minutes. So, and in an hour, I mean, they were up and they held, because within the volatility, they go back down, they go back up, like all the way to the point down here, they went up like 4 to 5x. And in this first run here, they went up like 4 to 5x as well. When it popped back up, they started losing value, and then when it popped back down, they got their value again. But this initial first drop, it's the quickest one. It's the riskiest, but it's the quickest. But if you got a bear indicator and you see that shift right there changing really fast, there you got it. And that's the whole goal and point. So we look forward to getting everybody connected. Again, thank you guys all for watching, and I look forward to having you guys join us, those that are interested in getting connected over to the 42 Vision Indicator. Again, the link is down below in the description, and I look forward to having you guys comment and join us in our next videos, and we'll be looking over charts and stuff. And tomorrow I'll be posting videos on MULN, on BBIG, and HYMC. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.